The vertical leg press is
trash.
Alright, and some of you are probably like, Burly Boy, I have a vertical leg press in my gym and I freaking love it. And that is great. And you know what? I even have a vertical leg press myself. So then you're probably wondering, why is the vertical leg press
Trash.
Well, I'm gonna go off some basic quad anatomy for you guys, because let's be honest, when we're doing the leg press, we're trying to train our quads. I know some people are gonna be like,
all, I want to, work the hamstrings, stuff like that.
but no, for the most part, it's a quad and a glute builder. I'd say a little bit more quad than glutes for sure, but primarily we're talking about the quads. And the quads have 4 heads, and all 4 heads cross the knee joint. So when we want to work the quads, we want to get a lot of knee flexion. Now, when we look at the vertical leg press, you'll notice right away when I'm doing it here, I can't get my calves to touch my hamstrings, which means I'm not actually getting as much knee flexion as my legs are capable of doing. It stops short, it stops at the bottom, which means I'm leaving some gains on the table, especially the fact that the stretched portion of a lift has been shown in science to cause more growth. That's the most important part of the lift. So we're literally skipping that little bottom end there, which is the most hypertrophic part of the lift. So that's problem number 1 with the vertical leg press. And this problem is actually exaggerated even more if you are taller and have longer legs. Because I'm a short king, only 5'5" manlet, my legs aren't that long, so I can kind of get a little bit more ROM than someone else. But if you have longer legs, you're probably gonna get even less knee flexion. Me, I can break parallel pretty good on this, which isn't too bad, but if you have really long legs, you're probably gonna struggle to break parallel. So that is the first thing wrong with it. The second thing wrong with it is, you may not have noticed, but when I also go down, my lower back, when I get to that bottom range in the vertical leg press, my lower back starts to round quite a bit off the pad, which is not good. That can put a lot of strain on your lower back, and if you already have lower back pain, probably not going to be great. So you shouldn't even go as low as you can, because then your lower back is going to start rounding off the platform. And I know anyway, for me, the one I have, my lower back definitely starts to do that. And that is problem number 2 with the vertical leg press. But then you're probably wondering, Burly Boy, why do you have a vertical leg press in your gym if it's so bad? Well, my friends, there is a way to make the vertical leg press quite a bit better for muscle growth and quite a bit better for your lower back anyway. And that way of doing that is adding pads to elevate your hips. Now, when we elevate our hips, we're going to be able to get a lot more range of motion and more knee flexion with our quads, and even a bit more hip flexion as well. So it's going to work the glutes a little bit more too, because we're getting deeper in that range. If you notice, now when I do the vertical leg press with all the padding there, I can get my calves to touch my hamstrings, so I'm getting in that most stretched position, a little pause in there, slow eccentric, and all of a sudden the vertical leg press gets a lot better. The only minor nitpick about that is, because your hips are elevated like that, the machine, it almost touches the top. For me anyway, I still clear it quite a bit, but again, I'm a 5'5" manless short king, so I don't have very long legs. So if you do have really very long legs and you put a lot of padding there, you may actually top out the machine and you won't be able to go all the way up. Now, if you don't care about that, because the stretch portion of the lift is more hypertrophic than the contraction anyway, you can probably just do a bunch of long length partials on here, and that will be, studies have shown anyway, that can be just as good as full range of motion in terms of muscle hypertrophy. But obviously, I feel like most people want to use a full range of motion, and if you're a beginner anyway, I would definitely recommend a full range of motion. And I still am under the impression that full range is probably a little bit better than the long length partials, especially if you're a beginner. You shouldn't really even be using any of those advanced training techniques. So if you do have longer legs, this thing is really not going to be the pick for you. Fortunately for me, I have short legs, so benefits of being a manlet. I can do the vertical leg press fine, and I can get a lot of knee flexion and go through a full range of motion. But if you don't, I'd probably steer away from this machine. And then you're like, well, if this thing has all these flaws, why did you get it in the first place? Well, that's because a normal leg press, the 45-degree one anyway, is freaking massive, and it's not really that practical to have in a home gym. But then you're like, Burly Boy, why do you have a freaking pendulum squat? That thing's freaking massive. And the reason is because I freaking love the pendulum squat, and in my opinion, it's the best squatting motion, quad, glute exercise you can do for your legs. So I had to freaking have one. It was pretty much either we get a regular leg press or we can go for a squat, type thing. So we went with the pendulum squat, and I think that is better than any leg press anyway. But so then we got the vertical leg press on the side. We actually did get the vertical leg press first, but pendulum squat, that's the main exercise for me. That's my favorite one. Vertical leg press is still good for me anyway because I can put the pads under there and get that extra range of motion. But if you can't, I'd probably steer clear of this thing and probably go to a hack squat or a regular 45-degree leg press. But for me, it's good for me. Probably an A-tier exercise, not bordering on S, I don't think, just because it has those limitations. But a great exercise if you can put the pads under there and you can get that full range of motion. But if you can't put the pads there and you can't get full depth on the quads or a full knee flexion, I'd probably have to put it somewhere in C or B tier. Still gonna grow your legs, but not as great as other exercises. But that's gonna have to wrap up the video, guys. If you have enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you guys prefer more of. Do you prefer more videos like this that I'm doing right here, where I basically give you information on like dieting, workouts, machines, and all that kind of stuff? Or do you prefer like workout videos that I do, or those reaction videos I do? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.